So like everything, it's chance mixed with being prepared and putting those two together at the right time that you get the result. You can't have one without the other. I had shared on my Facebook page that I had my
Okay.
first million view reel on Instagram. I grabbed a screenshot. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Um, and this was just totally random. Like, this is one of those deals where I started putting up videos in October. I never did anything with this account. Well, I shouldn't say never. I went back, I looked, I think I had posts from 2020 maybe. And what ended up happening was I was like, I need to get back on Instagram. I need to get back on Facebook. Let me start posting again. And all these are mostly are videos that were on my YouTube channel that I re-uploaded without the watermark. So there's no YouTube watermark on it. I put it on Instagram. Instagram automatically kicked it over to my Facebook business page. And for whatever reason, I know the reason, this particular reel took off and it just kept growing and growing and growing. In about 3 weeks, it hit 1 million views. And so I think a big part of the reason why that reel did so well was because it shows somebody in pain. It shows somebody, a real person, experiencing real symptoms that other real patients who have had a total knee replacement are dealing with. There was nothing instructional in that video. There was nothing promotional in that video. I've got hundreds of these video clips where I'm literally just showing, I've got my phone. I'm recording while I'm palpating. I think people like seeing my hand, seeing the palpation. And in that particular one, I mean, it's a big swollen knee. I touch a spot, he kind of reacts to it. Patients can relate to that kind of content. So first, before I go on, any thoughts, any observations? What kind of goes through your mind when you see some of that stuff?
First of all, congratulations, Tony. 1 million views on one video clip. It's incredible. I'm not surprised, but you putting it out there, I'm pumped. I'm pumped for you. And hopefully this is just the start of many, many more clips that become millions of views or multi-millions of views per video. So I don't want to hold you to it, but hopefully this will be the standard for Tony Maritato moving forward.
Well, what I think is interesting is this same exact video was on YouTube, not doing a whole lot, and what I'm seeing now, so I'm publishing every single day, usually 3 short videos a day across Instagram, TikTok, Facebook business page. I'm not putting them on YouTube because they're already on YouTube. And I'll hit a video with 180,000 views on TikTok that has like 1,000 views on Instagram. I'll have a video on Instagram with, 1 million views, that one, and it has maybe 10,000 views on Facebook. I'm sorry, there is no rhyme or reason as to what hits on what platform at what time. I even had a video that was on TikTok. It had like 3,000 views. I took it down. I put it back on TikTok, and now it's got 180,000 views. Now, just like patient care, and that's the funniest thing about this. I love seeing lessons that I learn across multiple disciplines that apply in the same way. Just like patient care, there's a therapist who gets a patient, they do an evaluation, they deliver an intervention. The intervention, air quotes, works. If you're listening, I'm doing air quotes. And they're convinced it's because of that intervention that worked. It's not. It was just the right time, the right place, the right person, and that person got better on their own. But now that therapist is convinced that they are the expert. They write a book, they create a course, they go through and name a treatment technique after themselves. We see it all over. Yep. We see it all over the place. And it's the same in social media. When I told somebody I did something, they were like, oh, don't ever do that. You got to do this. And nobody knows. The people who created the algorithm don't even know. We don't know. We just need to experiment. We need to, make our best educated guess and just keep working and moving forward.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, maybe you'll be able to confirm in the coming weeks or months, but Do you think, Tony, that part of your the why this video got so many views in such a short period of time, do you think it's the non-promotional part of it? Do you think it's part of because it's like your POV, your point of view, and you're talking over it, and your hand enters the screen, and then you're kind of it's almost as if like the audience is in the provider's glasses or in their brain, or maybe something else. Are there multiple features or factors here that like other therapists, other practice owners, providers can maybe model that you think these are some of the reasons why? Or is it just completely like, you had to put out hundreds or thousands of videos for something to become a million views? And is it completely a lottery ticket, or are there some factors here that folks could maybe try to model and test?
I think we can lay a reasonable framework out to say, yeah, like, okay, the direct point of view, as opposed to a talking head or me trying to educate, being behind the camera as if you're the person doing it. I do think there's an appeal to that. It's not super common, at least in our space right now. I do think that it's a real person and you see a real response. We know how powerful real stories are. And the thing that I see, and I've shared this on a couple posts already, is once I start seeing comments of people saying, that's exactly what's happening to me. That's exactly what the surgeon said to me. That's exactly what, whatever. That to me is confirmation that there's a resonance here between what they're seeing and what they're experiencing. It creates an emotional response. But even with all of that, like, yeah, there are the hero's journey and there's copywriting techniques and there's all this stuff. And you could have the perfect formula, but there's also an element of chance. There's also an element of, I just put it out at a time that happened to be when the algorithm was looking for something to push out. And then there was enough of a community out there that spent enough time watching it and consuming it and commenting on it that it reinforced what the algorithm needed at that moment. So like everything, it's chance mixed with being prepared and putting those two together at the right time that you get the result. You can't have one without the other. And so I keep trying. I keep trying to replicate the formula and do it, and I've got some that do well and I can think that I can predict it. I've got some that do terrible. And I'm like, what the heck? Why did this not take off? Well, probably timing, probably, things out of my control.
Or is there any common theme with some of the other videos that you might have done like this, where you do kind of a close up on a knee or maybe some other area? The same type of POV where you're talking over it and the audience can really only see like the knee joint or some other joint. Like, have you done other videos like this? And if so, have they tend to outperform the ones where you're kind of like selfie, your face, and maybe it looks a little, the first impression is maybe like, oh, here's the provider, he's trying to pitch and sell and, get patients into his clinic or whatever. Have you done other videos like this of this same like POV and style?
Yeah, I think it's usually the ones where it's a common. Now, I'm fortunate also in that I've got the total knee replacement group. I hear thousands of people talking. I hear commonalities in what they're saying. And so when I have a real patient in the clinic and they're like, it hurts right here, and the doctor said the x-ray is totally normal, I know that's gold. I know that is going to resonate with the audience because I've heard thousands of people say, why does my knee hurt so much and the x-ray is normal? And then especially when I can now come in and say, well, because the pain is at the head of the fibula, not at the knee joint. Even though you think it's the knee joint, it's not the knee joint. It's the fibular. It's the junction between the fibula and the tibia. And I go through a little bit of that. But those are usually the ones that I know. I know the ones that are on the edge of being gross. I've got 2 or 3 videos of just nasty, disgusting open wounds with dirty fingers and patients are picking at it. I can't share that because that is too over the edge and it's not going to resonate the same way. But if I have one where I've got like significant lymphedema problems and the patient's like, no, it's totally normal, I can share something like that. It's got to be right at that edge. It's like going to see Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, we want a little bit of mystery. We don't want to be completely disgusted, there's a fine line there that I always try to find and navigate. But literally, I was thinking about this the other day. I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clips like that, 15 to 35 seconds, some maybe just a hair longer, sitting on my computer that I'm just data mining. I'm just going through. I come in the morning, I pull up the folder that has all of these clips, and I start going through. I'm like, okay, this one, this one, this one. I might trim the edges a little bit, put on captions, and ship it. And I usually schedule those 3 or 4 videos to be published periodically throughout the day. And it's been working. I mean, I already showed you guys, the Facebook page has got 2 million views on Reels in the last 28 days. Instagram since December, mid-December, so about a month, Instagram has grown almost 2,000 followers, which I started with 1,000. So even though it doesn't sound like a lot, that's a significant growth for that channel. And I'm almost at 1,000 followers on TikTok when I started that account November 4th. So whatever it is, it's working.
I'm curious as to why you wouldn't post those videos that are like a little like disgusting looking or whatever. Like I figure, YouTube, you've seen what works on YouTube. You got the Dr. Pimple Popper. That whole show is about things that are disgusting. Is it you don't want to attract that percentage of the world or the audience, or you're afraid of backlash where people, unsubscribe? Like I thought, if you have content like that, you could have, an overlay text that says like, don't put dirty fingers in new wound, or what not to do after knee replacement, or wash your hands first before you, even attempt to touch your wound or something. Could you add some educational component to it, knowing that it could resonate, but at the same time, are you afraid of some, negative backlash with your content, with the algorithm, with the audience, whatever?
I am. I'm afraid of a negative response. I did consider, this was the one thing I was considering, blurring everything with a warning sign saying, if you don't want to see graphic content, click away, with like a 5-second countdown so that they know, okay, in 5 seconds, that's going to increase engagement. It's going to increase watch time. It's going to do all that stuff. But then I go back to, I'm like, you and I are so comfortable and we're so used to this world of seeing this kind of stuff. But to the general population, which is my target audience, we still have to go back to, I don't want a pimple popper channel. That's not what I'm looking for. I do still want to prime the algorithm and get it ready so that when I put video content out there that is selling something, that I get the people that I want to purchase what I'm selling. So I do feel like if I cross that line, I'm moving into, a different population, and that's not really where I want to go. Plus, I don't want somebody to look at that and think that I'm making someone look bad. Everything in what I do is trying to be positive, trying to be supportive, and I want to stick to that. And so when you see something that it's too much, like I watch Kensington Street in Philadelphia. I watch those videos where they're walking by and you see all of the stuff that's going on there. I don't want that for my channel, and that's the thing. So there's an audience that I could cultivate, but I don't want that audience.
It makes a ton of sense. Now, just for context, the video that you had that went to 1 million views, it was that one that you were talking about the fibular head and you were telling the patient, or is that 2 different videos?
It was a different one. The one that went to 1 million, it looks like an infected knee. This was a patient that had an infected knee. It was no longer infected. They did the antibiotics. They did the spacer. It was 4 weeks post-op. This was a complicated case that I've been working with this patient for over a year when we recorded that video. And so I think, though, I put across the headline, like, no infection, just swelling, I think I said. And everybody was like, that looks horrible. That's a train wreck. That's infected, all of these kinds of things. Didn't bother me. I had no emotional ties to it, but I kind of knew it was such a different looking situation, not gross, but different, that it would get engagement.
Got it. Yeah. So what's the future plans and the steps moving forward? Like, do you have Any thoughts on, certain styles like that more often? Are you still going to do your normal mix? You're always going to be testing things, right? So like, what's next for you, your channel, and your content?
My goal with all of this is I'm launching programs right now using some of the new products and the equipment I have in the clinic, targeting very specific patient populations that relate to those videos. So I am looking to attract patients that have had complicated outcomes following a knee replacement. I'm doing a 15-day post MUA program where the clinic is open 7 days a week. So I'm coming in Sunday, coming in Saturday. I'm targeting patients that either want to avoid an MUA or they've had complications with their post-surgical care. These are local patients, but then I'll expand out to virtual and digital, which we're going to talk about when we talk about Larry's article. And the idea is, and I don't know, I'm not an expert in any of this, but it would make sense to me that I'm priming the algorithm with these specific videos about complicated or, challenging post-surgical knee replacements, that when I then do throw something out there, I can put an ad behind it because it's a proven piece of content, and hopefully I can generate sales. I can reduce my cost of, the click and all that other stuff.
Got it. Now, the programs like that, for specifically the manipulation under anesthesia program, is that going to be an insurance covered benefit, or is that out of pocket? What are you planning there?
Both. So anybody local, it's going to be an insurance covered benefit. I am specifically targeting people that have, and I put language out there, that have exhausted their insurance coverage. Now they're cash pay. I have offers for them for cash pay. I am promoting, the fact that just because your insurance is no longer covering physical therapy doesn't mean you have to stop physical therapy. We have options.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, that's right. Because, the reality is, and of course, I'm leveraging the fact that, hey, I can get you in today. You don't have to wait 3 weeks. I'm working on helping them understand it's more the fear and the anxiety of the upcoming manipulation under anesthesia. That's what I'm helping you work through. That's what I'm helping you deal with, and so I think it'll be a great program. I'll keep everybody posted, of course, but it is very kind of laser focused on that specific population.
Hey, it's Dave Kittle. Are you a healthcare business owner or physical therapy practice owner who is looking to figure out your succession plan or exit strategy? We might be able to help. And in fact, we may be interested in acquiring your practice. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. Shoot me an email at dave@conciergepainrelief.com. That's DAVE at CONCIERGE painrelief.com. Or you can call me at any time, 646-781-8884.